Hey everybody, Aussie Viking here for the next video that we are doing. Halo, it's about Halo, so let's go. So, the one thing that we fans of Halo, mostly for the campaign, have against it is the writing and how the story is cut in half and how it felt like a lot of things were blown out and just didn't make much sense. And we all seem to shit it at Brian Reed. Now, many people are saying that he should be fired and that he should never ever be working on Halo ever again. I think that's a bit too much because Brian Reed, while not good enough for me at least to become a head writer of Halo like he is now in Halo 5, he is good enough as a character writer. He has some great dialogue, such as in the campaign on the before you do the Battle of Sanion. There is some great writing there where it's like, Tanaka, say a few words, and it was a very human moment that he wrote. Very, very well done. And even with the cutscene you're seeing now with Chief, that was actually very well done. You got a lot out of it. He still feels painful for Cortana. His other friends are scared for what's going on. Well, at least Fred is, at least. And he knows them well. The way he interacts. That was really well done, I have to say. The blue cutscene, start cutscene, was actually very, very, very well done. Not really bad. I mean, it even says they're from Brute Camp, so it says that it shows and says to us, the audience, that they know each other. They could have done better with that, obviously. Before we got, I think it was pretty well done. He does have trouble with other things, such as, well, bringing Cortana back and not making it more, what's the word, emotional, like. And it's very strange. One second he's like, Cortana, and then he just realizes that Cortana's not there. But then he just goes completely the opposite direction. There's no internal conflict for him. Which, if you've watched the Hunt the Truth season 2, I think it was, and you watch all the adverts they did, there was a lot of truth coming up and saying, hey, he's still emotional. And you don't see too much of that. You do see it, but not as much as you're thinking you would be able to see. And it's rather stupid, I think. I mean, he's a good writer. He just needs a bit more of a kick, I think. I would suggest for 343 not to fire him, but to not make him head writer and just get somebody that's a good head writer. Hell, get somebody from CG Projekt Red. Actually, yeah, 343, you should do that. Have that one of those writers as the lead writer for Halo 6 or whatever the next Halo is going to be called, and do that, because 343 as a company and as a whole entertainment base really needs to change a few things up. I really think they do. So they've done some good things, 3 map packs, free expansion packs of Forge and all these other maps. That is as perfect as a developer could be and should be at this day and age. But there could be more. It feels like there should be more. So when 343 made Halo 5, it's cut in half. It feels cut in half. It's a good story, but it could have been so much better, and it just feels so cut in half. It's not bad, but it could be better, and it feels like they should look towards other developers like CG Projekt Red. CG Projekt Red is one of the greatest video game developers ever, and they do so much for their fans. They listen to their fans. They come and talk to their fans. They say, hey, we're listening. We will help out your troubles, and we will destroy those troubles. That's what CD Projekt Red does. But with 343, it's like they do listen to their fans, but they don't seem to do it as much as they really should. So with Halo 4, when that came out, it was praised for its story. It was one of the best Halo stories ever, if not the best Halo story. And however, there was some negatives. The gameplay was basically slightly different from Reach. Instead of Sprint being a what was it called? Armor ability. You had it for real now, and that was it. That was the only difference they had. Not really something a lot of fans enjoyed. And the level design, while good, it wasn't different enough. And people wanted a different level design. They wanted a bigger, better gameplay elements added, which 343 did for Halo 5. Which made Halo 5 one of the greatest games to play, I think, ever on any console, because it's just so damn fun. They did have a few problems. with multiplayer as well, which they listened to the community and said, we don't want this to be like COD, and they didn't. They completely changed it and went, alright, not like COD, it's completely different, and it's Halo. It's exactly how it should have been. So they do listen, except this time I feel like in Halo 5 they listen too much towards the multiplayer side than the campaign side, because for most people, campaign is what makes Halo Halo, and I agree with that statement. I remember once when I was younger, a whole lot of people talking about Halo, talking about Halo, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, multiplayer, yeah, this and that, I killed this guy doing this, and I just came up and went, am I the only one here that likes Halo for its campaign? No, I like it for the campaign. Yeah, actually, come to think of it, I like the campaign. A lot of people really stay for the campaign and multiplayer, but me, I stay for the campaign. I barely play multiplayer. It's fun, but I just love going around the levels and jumping up and using mantling and everything like that. It's beautiful and it's fun. And all these criticisms that Halo 4 had, were basically fixed on the spot for Halo 5. And campaign, like, I enjoy campaign, and as a Halo game, it's a great campaign. Actually, as most FPSs go, it's a great campaign in general. It just feels incomplete, and you could say it's the Halo 2 way, but Halo 2 felt incomplete, but it felt like you would get more answers, sort of thing. So, the thing about Halo 5 was, in its adverts and such, it had a whole different story about Chief becoming, taken back by the UNSC, basically, and not following orders, which happens in the game, but very weakly, I have to say. I mean, obviously you could say that Hunt the Truth is basically the truth, and the truth may not be as interesting as what we were hyping it up to be. That's totally plausible, it makes a lot of sense. It just feels like they should have at least done a bit extra, a bit more oomph to the story. Again, like CD Projekt Red. So when CD Projekt Red was making The Witcher 3, originally it was going to come out in 2014. They went, we need to develop this more and make it a lot better. So they did it to January 2015. They then went, nah, we need to do it even more better, and then it was delayed until, I think, May the 23rd or something. So they extended their time to make their game as good as they could get it. 343 really needs to learn something like that. Of course, if it's Microsoft's big flagship, if they have a date, they have a date. But to be honest, if the game's going to suffer, at least give it an extra month or two of development time. Be like, alright, it's not releasing in, say, October, it's releasing in December. Something like that. You want to release a quality game than just one that's like, oh, well, we haven't done too much, but you're going to get the rest in free updates. Which is great. It's a good thing that we're getting free maps and free big expansion stuff, and we got Forge and all that. That's great. That's really, really great. But it can't help but feel like how the game was, that this was just, let them wait. They'll be right. Let them wait. And it's the whole quality thing. Why not just give everything in one big package before we get it like this, which we got with Halo 5? And I don't really want to shit on Halo 5. It's really a great game. But when you go from the greatness of Halo 4 to Halo 5, it's just, and it's mainly campaign, really. I'm mainly focused on campaign. Gameplay wise, level design, everything else is superb in Halo 5. It's just the campaign that feels like it's got screwed over to an extent. And while I disagree that people are saying that we should get rid of Brian Reed, I think like we should just take him down a notch to, instead of lead writer, to somebody that follows the lead writer. Getting work on characters. He's actually quite a good character developer. Like I said, with even in-game dialogue, mostly in-game dialogue, and in the cutscenes there are some great moments. In-game dialogue is pretty good too, I have to admit. The downside is when you wait a lot, you'll miss some good dialogue. There's still dialogue that people said they've heard in the game, and I haven't. I've gone through it like 4 or 5 times now, so... And that's one reason why I keep replaying the game over and over again, just so I can hear these different layers of character development they have. Another thing is how 343... Okay, so Halo 5 follows the extended universe, which is great. You know, it's good to have the extended universe and games coincide. But it's hard for people, even for a fan like me, to remember everything. I still remember the great moments in books. I don't remember everything. I can't remember everything. I've got other things to deal with. And it's annoying how parts of the game coincide to that, but don't stick, and it's just very, very annoying, and it's just something that needs to get fixed. So, which is why I'm always, for now, and if I do a Halo video, especially if I do a walkthrough, which will happen, I'll be on that in a sec after this, they really, really need to do a codex sort of thing, like Assassin's Creed does, and The Witcher does, and every other RPG does, and any game that actually has a deep lore in a universe. Halo needs to do this. They did it with Halo Wars. They actually did a timeline with Halo Wars and some backstory. That was it. No more. Why did Halo just finally go, backstory, yeah, gone. Not even Reach had that. And Reach came out a year after Halo Wars. They could have done that. They could have went, alright, you know what, let's give some more Reach stuff instead of having that. It's a bloody escape to money. You want to know the other universe stuff? Here's $20. Buy the book. Buy the extended universe guides. Just buy all this biography stuff. And it's like, no, do what CG Projekt Red did. It's based on books. The Witcher is. And even if you didn't read the Witcher books, not only did you get a lot out of it because there was many things harking back to the books, but in the game you had a biography of characters from the books and their times. You could get a very clear picture of what these characters did before you met them in the Witcher games because of the books that if you didn't read, you could find out what they did. And this is something that I think 343 should actually focus on for the next game, or for every Halo game from now on. Do a biography, make it the domain. There you go. The domain is a thing. You can access the domain. Don't go to Halo Waypoint or some fucking bullshit like that. In game, we as gamers like it. We don't want to get thrown, like when we go to Halo Wars when we go to Halo Waypoint and say we want to watch a video, it just takes us out the experience. So, say in Halo 4, in game, when you had the terminals, in game. No, I don't think it was in Halo 4. Halo Anniversary. It was in Halo Anniversary. In Halo Anniversary, we had the domain sort of terminals, which when you open them, you got some backstory. Which was great, by the way. That was a great thing to do. The backstory in the domain sort of terminals was a fantastic way to do things, because it definitely opens up the experience. Now, here's where it got fucked up. When the Xbox One came out, those versions of it, and you got the Master Chief Collection, in Halo 2, Halo 1 Anniversary, and Halo 4, all the terminals you could access, especially the ones that you could access in-game, took you out the experience of the game and made you go to a separate Halo Waypoint to load everything up. No, that is not how you should do things. A lot of gamers go, well, I don't want to fucking wait 30, 40 seconds for a video to load. I want to be in, out. I want to go to this terminal, click X, and have the video just play. Video plays, ends, I'm back in the game. That is what they want. You don't just go to Halo Waypoint. And Halo Waypoint is a good way to get some information. But how many gamers out there, and to ask yourself this, how many gamers out there, and you, me, everyone else, will have the audacity, I guess is the word, to just sit back and watch something as it takes us out the game? No, we don't. That is not how you do things. And it's a stupid idea that I think 343 really needs to look at. Make the domain in-game. You click start, you click access domain. You access the domain, and in the game, if you click the back button a few times, you'll go straight back in the game, and you can kill whatever you want to kill. So you have it in-game. Go to the domain, you look at things like the Covenant, the Sanshum, or the Grunt, who they are, what their species is, some stories about very popular grunts and elites and all that. And then you move on to say you want to move on to the Spartans. It's got a list of all the Spartans who have died and who are still alive. You can have it in separate things, so all the Spartans that are KIA, or MIA, one list. You can go to the right bumper and it's got all the Spartans that are confirmed to be alive, sort of thing. You click on, say, Master Chief. It shows where he was born. It shows his name. It shows his height. It shows his everything, you know. It shows his biography and who he is as a character. He grew up till 6. He was taken from his house, taken to Reach, trained to be a Spartan, so on and so forth. It tells us about the relationship he has with Kelly and Linda and everybody else, Fred and the other Spartans. That's it. That's all you need to do. but but not a lot of people like to read. So to enhance this, I suggest that they, as a community, have the characters talk. So say you have Chief selected, you got his whole biography down, right? And you don't want to read it all, but you want to just get a certain patch of it. So you could go to another tab, and it has play, and it will just play this biography of Chief in the voice of Chief. So you have Downs, I think it's something Downs. I can't remember his name, but Downs is his last name, I think. Steve Downs, I think it was. I think so. So you have him talking as the Chief about his life, the moments he felt when he was attacking this Covenant group. You know, if he was scared, if he wasn't, if he felt like this was just another mission, those sort of things. Not only does this concept give us a lot of backstory and storylines throughout the whole universe of Halo, we can actually get an idea in the head of the characters of what they felt. So in First Strike, Chief survives Halo, and the Halo being destroyed and all that, which was interesting and great. And you could listen to how in this First Strike story, what he felt in his head when he was alone, basically after the Halo blew up. He comes out, he's in the ship, and it's just dust and echoes. Now in the book, which they don't do this in the game it's like it's just dust and echoes, keep scanning, that's where the game ends. In the book we find out that there's no dust and echoes, and he's feeling very distraught because he thinks, well, we can't get out here, there's no slip space drive, there's nowhere to go, and I can't do anything, I can't fight in space well, you know, until they find a Pelican out there full of Marines and such, and he gets with the Marines, and they go to a ship, take it over, and get the hell out of there. Well, and by taking the ship, they literally just shoot the airlocks and make everybody just shoot out. It's pretty great. You know, you could get so much stories, and you get extended universe stories for people that haven't read the books, and it's like, oh, well, that happened. Give it in detail. You don't have to do the whole book. You wouldn't have to do the whole book, but you could have different views. So you could have Chief's view from when he destroys the Halo, and then start a First Strike. And you can run over to Fred and stuff when they're on Reach, because First Strike shows the Battle of Reach. So First Strike happens after Halo CE and after Reach falls, but it has stories as the Spartans were on Reach, which Chief couldn't get to, which you'll hopefully see one day if you don't watch the Full of Reach cartoon, which actually didn't show how he wasn't on Reach, which was really fucking stupid, to be honest. But it was still good for what you have. So Chief is on the ship, the Covenant ship, goes back to Reach, and he goes and to find out if his other Spartans are alive. He finds that there are some alive, and he saves them, brings them back, so on and so forth. That's not the in-detailed version of it, that's basically the summary of it. You can tell that in a detailed view, in a biography that he says, and you get the emotions of the character, you get what they felt, what they feel. You get a story of the canon that is canon now. You get all of that in just something called the domain, an in-menu thing that you can find. You know, maybe you can have collectibles that unlock different, more versions of it. So say you find a story, so say in Halo, whatever comes next, because I think they're trying to get rid of the Halo numbered ones. So say in Halo, if they made Halo Attack of the Forerunners or some shit like that, you could have, you could look around a level and you could find one that gives you a big chunk of a mission that he did 10 years after he became a Spartan, you know, after he went through augmentations and all that. You could have all that, and you could have extended universe stuff about Halsey and everything else, and that, to me, is the best thing you need to do. You need to do something like that, 343. I'm really bad at saying 3. It's an Aussie thing. But yeah, that's the one thing that really kicks Halo in the gut for me, that they never explain the extended universe. Even people that know the extended universe off by heart still have troubles at times. And this is the one thing that, as a game fan and a Halo fan, really, I think 343 really needs to fix immensely. And that, and make their stories coherent. So there was a lot of coherent stuff in Halo 5's story. It just needed more. You know, don't cut your game in half to meet a deadline. If you need to keep going, keep going. Say to them, alright, we have to delay the game by a month or two. But By doing so, we get a big chunk of game that will make people a lot happier. Meaning a lot more people want to buy it, and more people want to buy the next game you make. Sort of thing. And those are really my thoughts. And again, Brian Reed I don't think should be fired. I think he should just be taken down from the lead writer and just go to and be controlled by somebody that's, I guess, a big Halo fan. Get a big Halo fan, but don't get somebody that wants to make Halo his own story. Make it that he's willing to listen to the other writers, but make him that he knows what he's doing more so than the other writers. It would be hard to do, but it's not impossible. And yeah, that's really all I have to say on that. Also, about a walkthrough. So, I've done my walkthroughs of the main story of Metal Gear Solid Rising, which is good. It was a fun game. I loved it. I'll do the DLC someday, soon, hopefully. But I am not against doing a Halo walkthrough of... Well, Halo Reach I can do because it's backwards compatible and it's a lot easier, funny enough, to... Now it's a lot easier since I can use a laptop to record from my Xbox in my room. But that computer is not strong enough to not only do it at 720p and a quarter of the way quality. So I'm not even at full quality when I record on my Xbox One. So it doesn't look as good as it should. So what I'm going to do is hopefully do a Halo 5... Halo 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Master Chief Collection and Halo 5 walkthroughs with me talking over them when I can get hopefully a stronger computer or just a few other things. So if I can sort that out, I will. In the meantime, you may be able to get a walkthrough of Halo Reach from the Xbox 360 since it's backwards compatible and that's easy to record. And that's an easy campaign. I know what I'm doing. So that can be fairly easy. Everything else, not so much. But we'll see. Right now, we'll just see. I've got the new mic. It's good that I can have some talking things for you guys to listen better now. You can hear better. You won't be like, oh, this sounds like shit. I'm out of here, man. Sort of thing. I need to work on my talking. I do understand that. Even with a sort of script in front of me, it's still hard to talk. And I do ramble on a few things, and I don't pronounce things properly. But again, keep doing this for a few years, and guess what? I'm sure I'm going to be better at it. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about Halo 5 and the whole Brian Reed confussle. He doesn't deserve to be completely shot out of Halo, but he deserves to have more people, writers included, over him to say, hey, are you sure about this? A lot of people were annoyed that he killed Black Team in Escalation, that he killed the Didact for no reason, and it was composed, and it was... I do agree that it was stupid, because the Didact was made to be this big bad. Although they did sort of, forechance, what's the word, I can't remember the word, but, foreshadow. He did have him to forechance about Cortana possibly being the evil guy in the next one, because of the possibility of an AI surviving, and the whole idea of the Forerunners. There was many ways you could make Cortana survive in the canon of Halo 4 to 5, and it worked. And to an extent, it did work in Halo 5. If they make it bigger, as in, what I suggest is, have it that Halo 5's Cortana isn't Halo 4's Cortana. Halo 4's Cortana died, but since she made so many copies of herself, the Halo 5 Cortana is just a copy of that Cortana believing she's the original, sort of thing. And you could have it that Chief one day goes to a planet, maybe finding a Guardian, or just trying to find a way to stop her, maybe getting a few Forerunner weapons and ships himself for the UNSC, and have it that, oh, Cortana's here, but it's not the Cortana that's trying to control the universe, police the universe. It's a Cortana that believes she just died and she hasn't seen Chief in years, sort of thing. That could really work as a character on his mental capabilities, which was something that we were promised but not really given. And yeah, one more thing is, don't promise too much for your fans. We Halo fans, especially some of the bigger ones, can be very insane about how you fuck us over, or how, okay, not saying 343 fucked us over, but screwing us over but not enough to fuck us yet, sort of thing. Because Halo 5 is good. It was just, in the whole year of 2015 with so many great games, I was hyped to see if Halo 5 could keep up with the whole great writing of Halo 4, and it just didn't. It was good, don't get me wrong, there were some great moments, it needed so much more. And bring Scarabs back. We really need Scarabs back. I don't care what anyone says, Scarabs are awesome. But yeah, that's my little talk about Brian Reed, and if anybody else wants me to talk about other things about Halo, maybe some canon stuff, I'm all for it. Aussie Viking out. See you in the next video. Bye. Another thing I want to talk about is how I just remember this before I finished off the last recording, is the storytelling within the environment and about how these stories in the environment happen. So in Blue Team, which is my favourite Halo level in Halo 5 and in any Halo actually, it's just so fun. There is a lot of dead bodies on the floor. They're decayed and they don't look like they've been hit by plasma blasts, they don't look like they've been killed by Covenant. You're like, what's going on here? If you find all the audio devices, audio logs and so on, you find out that this was an ownership creating a weapon other than the weapon in the game, which if you play the level you'll understand, or if I do a walkthrough one day, you will understand hopefully. And you find out that Oni was creating a germ-related weapon to kill the Covenant, except it backfired and killed everybody on the ship. There's more to the story, but I'll add that after this so you can get the whole story. It's really well done, and I think 343 should keep this as a storytelling device, but not to rely on it too much. Anyway, Aussie Viking out. Bye.
Compound Asteroidia 59B results observed. While subjects were sickened, they all recovered, with no recorded fatalities. Need to return to the formula and find a way to increase toxicity. Compound Asteroidia 61F results observed. While observed morbidity in subjects was satisfactory, LD50 level not adequate. Need to be able to reach a level that maximizes efficiency. Compound Asteroidia 472A results observed. We almost have a candidate here. Sufficient morbidity, adequate LD50. However, we must shorten its half-life.
This is Rooker, Ship AI Argent Moon. Recording this as a warning to any Oni personnel who try to reclaim Argent Moon. Her air is not safe for humans to breathe. I repeat, her air is unsafe. Difficult to record this. We now have 100% fatality rate from the Asteroidia accident. Those near the accident site died almost instantly, liquidized from the inside out. They were the lucky ones. It was vaporized and quickly entered the air system. It slowly spread through the rest of the station. Symptoms took minutes or hours to arrive, depending on distance from epicenter, but none of the crew escaped its effects. Following the massive failure of containment protocols, I am making the decision to quarantine this ship. I've set a course that will keep it clear of any inhabited systems and jettison what remains I can into open space. I am now 6 months past my expiration date. It's clear that I can't manage this station any longer. I never could, and so I'm initiating final dispensation.